Good evening. It is great to look out at this wonderful diversity of faith traditions and of humanity as a whole. I want to give thanks to Jeff for that rather humbling introduction, and also thank the members of the planning committee for tonight's service who invited me to speak. So I begin with a paraphrase of a line from Kermit the Frog. I won't sing it, I promise. Why are there so many myths about rainbows and what they represent? For something that science describes as an optical illusion, rainbows have fascinated humans throughout time. Prior to our modern scientific definition of a rainbow as the phenomenon of light being refracted and reflected in droplets of water, people in different cultures around the globe have provided their own explanations for the rainbows they witnessed. So thanks to Russell Crowe and countless baby nurseries, many of us are familiar with the rainbow found at the end of the story about Noah and the flood in the book of Genesis. After what is sadly a divinely ordered destruction of all that had the breath of life, except for a select group stowed safely away in the ark, the rainbow is presented as a sign of the covenant that the God of Israel makes with all creation to never destroy the earth again. And this multicolored bow was a reminder of this promise, not just for humans, but also for God. Prior to the recording of this story in the Hebrew Bible, the Babylonian epic of Gilgamesh told a similar tale about how some of the gods who had grown tired of humanity used a flood to destroy them. At the end of the story, the goddess Ishtar places a rainbow in the sky as a barrier to prevent the gods from seeking to harm her human children ever again. These ancient Near Eastern cultures were not the only ones to tell myths of explanation about rainbows. The Greek goddess Iris was the messenger of the gods to humanity. The story goes that she created a bridge that would make it possible to travel between the heavens and the earth, and that bridge was a rainbow. Her name in Greek, Iris, has a double meaning of rainbow and messenger, and we also may recognize a connection with her name and vision, the iris of an eye. According to a Japanese myth, this illusory combination of light and water is described as the floating bridge of heaven that is traveled by the ancestors. And similarly, in Celtic, Nordic, and other pagan mythologies, the rainbow represents unity and hope. Within many indigenous cultures of Australia and the Americas, rainbows are connected to creation and peace. In some myths, it is the rainbow serpent who creates the world and all that is within it. And at times, this serpent is described as drinking water from the sea and spewing it out as rain upon the earth, actually creating the possibility for rainbows. According to several prophecies of Hopi, Cree, and other tribes, when humans forget how to live in harmony with the earth and with each other, warriors of the rainbow will come and walk among us, teaching us the ancient values of unity, love, and understanding. Then humanity will experience an awakening, and we will put aside our differences. we will join together and move over the earth like a whirling rainbow, creating communities of justice for all, humans and all members of creation. On the more secular side, we are all familiar with the Irish myth about rainbows and leprechauns. According to this story, there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and it is guarded by a rather, surly leprechaun. We see this image represented in advertising and other public spaces, especially around March 17th. This idea, though, often entices people to embark on what is a greed-filled and an impossible quest. For you see, there is no end to the multicolored illusion. Rainbows are actually circles. We see only half of the rainbow due to our limited horizons. Perhaps in a plane flying above the earth, we might get a chance to see the full circle of the rainbow. Likewise, our bias and prejudice prevent us from seeing the wholeness of the human community. Whatever the obstruction that keeps us from seeing the completeness of this rainbow creates a tear in the circle of the human family, so that we are unable to see each person as beloved and inherently of great worth. So justice is the means by which we mend that circle. But what is justice? We spend a lot of our time and energy in the good works that are trying to abolish injustices that we see embodied in poverty, discrimination, lack of access to health care, and the list goes on. But what does justice look like? That's a harder question. Is justice a system of laws and the consequences for breaking those laws? Some might say. Is it about getting what one deserves or being declared in the right? Some might say. Perhaps the words of former President Jimmy Carter are a good beginning point for us. He says, quote, "In the final analysis, true justice is not a matter of courts and law books, but of a commitment in each of us to liberty and mutual respect." End quote. As we know all too well, justice does not come easily. Humans are resistant to share power out of an unfounded fear that in doing so, our own lives will be diminished. Throughout history, cries of the disenfranchised, oppressed, and most vulnerable members of society have gone unheard, or more accurately, unheeded. Lives have been lost in the struggle over the simple idea of treating each person with respect and dignity. Now, while we have witnessed many successes toward inclusion, especially in this past year, we await an important decision from the Supreme Court, and we know that there is more work yet to do. We might be tempted to lose hope, to decide to just give up trying, to fall prey to the all too easy excuses of not enough time or money, or the defeatist attitude of "I'm only one person, what good can one person do?" During these times of frustration and despair, Marian Wright Edelman challenges us to be what she calls fleas against injustice. And she gives us this reminder, quote, "Enough committed fleas biting strategically can make even the biggest dog uncomfortable and transform even the biggest nation." End quote. Our theme for this evening and for the year, Let Justice Roll, is drawn from the ancient words attributed to a prophet speaking in the northern kingdom of Israel during the 8th century BCE. Amos railed against the injustices of people and spoke boldly about how they used religious rituals to camouflage their mistreatment of the least of these in their community. The prophet proclaimed that the divine had no need of sacrifices and detested the noise of their empty liturgies. Rather, what the holy demanded was to let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Commenting on this text, the great Jewish philosopher Abraham Heschel defined justice as a mode of action. This stuck with me. For just like water can carve even what seems to be solid earth into making a way where before there was no way, justice requires human action to break down oppressive structures and systems and to create a road to a future marked by equality for all. This is not the exclusive claim held by those who see the book of Amos as Holy Scripture. In the words of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, quote, "All religions try to benefit people with this same basic message of the need of love and compassion, for justice and honesty, for contentment." Rainbows and justice. These two images are not often put side by side, though they are clearly connected in the choosing of a rainbow flag to symbolize the LGBTQ Pride movement. But I see another connection. When mighty rushing waters splash against rocks and other obstacles in their way, a mist is created, a spray, and light can be refracted and reflected through those water droplets. And if we look closely enough, we can see rainbows. Illusory though they may be, the possibility exists. As the waters of justice smooth the dangerous sharp edges of hatred and violence, resulting in the inclusion of sexual orientation and gender identity within anti-hate crime and anti-bullying laws, we catch a glimpse of a rainbow of protection that prevents those who seek to harm members of the LGBTQ community in the name of God and religion. As the waters of justice broaden narrow pathways of prejudice, removing obstacles to marriage equality, we glimpse a rainbow bridge that spans the distances between persons separated by politics, religion, race, ethnicity, culture. As the waters of justice break down the seemingly indestructible rock of human hard-heartedness, resulting in mandates for non-discrimination against LGBTQ persons in work, housing, healthcare, the military, and the list goes on, we glimpse a full circle rainbow of creation that reminds us of the unity of the whole human family and gives us hope to do the work that lies ahead in our struggle to create a world of equality for everyone. So indeed I say, let justice roll. And let it reshape the hearts of people and the landscapes of societies here and around the globe, bending them towards a place where all people are able to become who they are created to be and experience the wholeness that is shalom. Let justice roll and let us commit ourselves once more to being agents of change, working together so that we may create what seems like an illusion into the very reality of a rainbow of justice. May it be so.